Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. So I've been getting a fair amount of comments on the Russia, Baltics, Europe front from our European viewers. And some of those comments have been, what's a word that's not offensive? Mildly strident. Lots of evoking of NATO. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. NATO. All right. Cue the intro. We're back. I know that President-elect, soon to be Trump, has the globalist running, right? They are not liking it. He's upsetting their apple cart. And those very leftist Europeans, because face it, Europe has become just a haven of left-wing, liberal-minded people. They are upset with some of the things that are coming out of his mouth or coming out of his tweets that he's doing. And one of those is about NATO, right? He's saying things intimating, hey, it's time for NATO to pay its own way. What? Pay for our own defense? And then I'm getting comments when I was talking about Russia and the Baltics and those kind of things going on. Hey, we're part of NATO. Blah, blah, blah. An attack on one is an attack on all. I want to talk about that. I came into the military early 80s, 1980s. We were strongly a part of NATO. NATO was big. The Russian bear was the Soviet Union was the evil empire, and we were going up against them, and everything we did was focused on them. And I could draw little charts and diagrams I could template Soviet military movements. I knew if these guys were here, then these guys were here, and I knew all that stuff. We all did back then. Doesn't make me special. And NATO was a big deal. And the basic thing on NATO is if you are a member of NATO, an attack on one member is the same as an attack on all. And NATO was created at the end of World War II as a counter to the Warsaw Pact, right, which was the Soviet Union, and all those little republics and everything that now, once the wall came down, are individual countries. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, blah, 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 blah. And so we formed NATO, and it was a bipolar world. And it stayed pretty safe, right? Things changed. Wall came down, those countries became countries on their own, and the U.S., in their ignorance, in my opinion, quickly brought as many of them into NATO as possible, pushing the bear into the corner, right? Okay, cool. I came to a huge change of heart reference NATO when the Kosovo situation was going on. Do some of you remember that? The Balkans? The former Republic of Yugoslavia split up, and then ethnic strife started, and there were problems, and Europe was wringing its liberal hands. Oh my! And so basically NATO went to war against the Serbs, who were fighting who? Do y'all remember who the Serbs were fighting back then? Remember whose side NATO kind of went on? The Muslims. And so NATO is the U.S., right? And so we send our forces over there, we send our money over there, we send our airplanes and our tanks and our radars and all that good stuff all the way over there to Kosovo to take care of that problem because it was a NATO problem. And we are NATO. And that got me to thinking. I talk to you all a lot about forming groups, MAGs, mutual assistance groups, alliances with people. No man is an island. You can't stand alone. Got to go to sleep sometime. Would it do me any good? You know a little bit about me, right? You can make an assessment of my abilities. Would it do me any good to form an alliance with an 11-year-old girl who lives an hour and a half car ride away? And she and I get together and it's like, okay, Pastor Joe, if anyone attacks you, it's like they're attacking me and I'm coming to your aid. And if anyone attacks me, you've got to come to my aid. That sounds like a pretty good deal for that little girl. What's in it for me? This little girl's going to come help me? Really? And for all the help she's going to give me, what I owe her in return is my life, my liberty, my gold to go to her assistance 2.5 hours away if she gets in trouble. If Europe, the European armies of NATO, could not handle Kosovo, they're like that 11-year-old girl. If you can't handle that in your own backyard, what good are you being an ally of mine? I know, there's people right now whose heads are exploding. It's true. It's true. If you can't handle something in the size of West Virginia on your own without U.S. major assistance, you're not worthy to be my ally. Ooh. See, I can say that because I'm not a politician. I'm never going to be. And so if you want our help because you have neglected to build a proper military, then you're going to have to pay for it. Now, for those other countries, I had a lot of people say, well, what if it was you and Russia was going to take you over? Yeah, I'd be concerned. But guess what? It's not me. It's not me. What's in it for us? Why should we come join you and help you? I personally think that Trump should get together with Putin soon after he assumes office, and they ought to hash a whole bunch of stuff out. And Trump should say, here's what I want, here's what I think you want, you tell me what you want, you what I think I want, let's get together. Let's get together and be all right. Everybody say. Why not? I think we can work together. I think this little friction that's been created between the U.S. and Russia is benefiting arms dealers and companies like that. I don't think it's benefiting anybody else. Russia is not an evil monster. You know, Russians love their children, just like most people do. They think about things differently. They do. The reality is, if you're in a little tiny country right next to Russia, you ought to be doing your best to get along with Russia. I would be. I certainly would be. And then your other option, because it's the only option I see, you should go back and watch my 3 ways to deal with martial law. Go somewhere else. Move. If the neighborhood is getting nasty and you can't change it and you can't adapt to it and deal with it, it's time to go. Because quite frankly, I don't think Estonia stands a chance against Russia if Russia wants Estonia. So I guess the first thing is make them not want you. Just deal with them. And second of all, if it comes to a fight, yeah, I know, I see what you're doing. Try to get America to fight your battle for you. I get it. I might try that too if I thought it would work. I'm just saying if it was me sitting in the big house, wouldn't work. I don't think it's going to work with Trump either. If you want to be an ally, you got to bring something to the table. We got to be like equals, or at least close. Harsh, I know. I'm going to have a bunch of Europeans unsubscribing, but it's the truth. It's the same thing as anything. You want to join a prepper group after an event, after the balloon has gone up and the world has gone crazy, and you think, well, you're just going to accept me because I am who I am and I'm a nice person, so accept me and share your limited resources with me and my family? I think you're in for a rude awakening. Stuff is fixing to get real. Y'all better wake up. It's getting real at an international level. It's going to get real at a regional level. It's going to get real at a local level. It's going to get real at your immediate area. And guess what else, sports fans? It's fixing to get real spiritually. And some of y'all are lost. I don't believe that, Pastor Joe. Okay, that's fine. But you will one day. See, now I just made myself sad. All right. I wish the best for all of y'all, but hoping doesn't make things so. Understanding how things are and dealing with the reality is what's going to help you get ahead. So if you're in a little country and you think Russia's coming for you, and you don't like that, move. All right. I'll see you out there.